Hello everyone, I'm Soojin and welcome to my YouTube channel. For a really long time, I've been wanting to create my very own YouTube channel, but I never really gotten around to. But since March has come and gone, I thought it would be the perfect opportunity for me to do an April plan with me. Since I always take a super long time to create my spreads, I thought I would draft out everything in pencil first to save us some time. I've decided that this month's theme would be nature since spring has already started for quite some time. And nature is a rather broad topic, so I'll be able to be more flexible and creative with my spreads and drawings. I know the video is pretty out of frame now, and the lighting is a bit weird throughout the whole video, but I promise it gets better, and it was pretty gloomy because it was going to rain when I filmed, so I apologize about that. So as you can see from my cover page, I decided to draw a half wreath, which I was pretty happy with because normally my wreaths are very sparse and have like weird bald spots here and there. So this one turned out pretty okay when I was drafting it, so I'm pretty satisfied. Next, I just lettered April in the center and added a quote that says, "Just living isn't enough. One must have sunshine, freedom, and a little flower," by Hans Christian Andersen. I thought this quote was just pretty fitting for the theme that I was going with this time, so why not add it in? Moving on, I decided to draw a mountain landscape and the northern lights in memory of my Iceland trip last year. I know the northern lights don't really look like it much, but I tried my very best. Also, just a disclaimer, the Northern Lights drawing is heavily inspired by Christine Mylene, and I only really started incorporating quotes into my spreads some months back after discovering her channel. So I'll link her channel down below if you haven't checked her out already. So for my monthly calendar, I decided that a traditional box calendar would be the most ideal since for me it provides the most space. I start school year 1 in April, so with all the orientations and classes going on, I suspect that April is going to be pretty more hectic and therefore I would need more space. I'm not going to jot down any events now since I don't think sharing my schedule with the internet is a very wise idea. And next I decided to add a quote that says, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts," by Winston S. Churchill. I think it's really appropriate for me since this year is going to be a new start for me in terms of education, and I don't want to let any of my past setbacks and failures bring me down. Now as for my monthly goals, you'd realize that I actually wrote my goals on a pink cardstock at first, but then I removed it and redrew everything on the notebook itself. The pink just looked really out of place, so I decided to get rid of it. This month, I hope to at least upload every Sunday, to put in my 100% in everything I do, to exercise twice a week, to start writing a book, and to be true to myself. This quote reminds me to not let my past failures and setbacks bring me down, and that this year would be a fresh new start for me education-wise. Next is my habits tracker. Here I'm just drawing some pine trees since it's one of the easiest trees to draw in my opinion. If you can't tell already, I'm actually really bad at drawing and I'm still learning. So this month, I'm actually trying to push myself to draw a little more in my spreads instead of printing out photos like I normally do. Printing out photos can be really expensive because of the amount of coloured ink I use, and coloured ink is really expensive here in Singapore. I also changed up the tracking style last month and I'd say it's working a lot better now. Basically, the old system I was using is I think one of the most common one when you start bullet journaling is that you write the dates on the left and the habits on top, and every time you complete a habit you tick the respective boxes. Basically, the old system I used was the most common one when you start bullet journaling. Basically, you list down the dates on the left and the habits on top. And every time you complete the habit, you tick the respective boxes. Most of the time, I tend to mistick or I end up giving up halfway because there's just too many habits for me to track and too many dates for me to look at. So last month, I decided to try out the individual habit tracker. So basically, I limited myself to 5, maximum 6 habits to track, got rid of all the dates, and just drew 30 boxes under every habit. This way, every time I complete a habit, I just shade in a box. So I don't need to worry about what date is it today or whether I'm at the correct habit or not, and it just relieves a lot of stress. Underneath, I just wrote a quote that says, "Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself," by George Bernard Shaw. Every time I do a habits tracker every single month, I tend to either give up halfway or I just tend to fill in everything at one shot because I forgot to do it the past few days. And this month I hope that would change, and I'll give myself some time to do bullet journaling every single day so that I can keep track with my habits tracker. Moving on to my spendings tracker, I just drew a whale at the left side. I have no clue why a whale, but it just popped up in my head when I was doing my draft, so I googled whale on my computer and drew the first one that came up on my screen. You would also realize that originally I wanted to spell out spendings instead of spending, but I ran out of space, so I wasn't able to add the S at the back, but it worked out fine as well, so I just wrote spending tracker. For the past few months, I've been trying to force myself to keep track of every single spending I make. So even if I'm having like a $2 meal for lunch, I wanted to add that in. But I realized that it takes up so much time, so much effort, and a lot of space in my bullet journal that it kind of got hard to track every single thing. So for this month, I decided that I would only log in my major spendings. So for example, cosmetics, stationeries, or the overall spending of my weekly meal. So hopefully this way I would be able to keep track of all my spendings, or at least estimate it, and not get sick of it and give up halfway through like how I've been doing it for the past few months. So this is the final flip through of my April spread. I've decided to not include week 1's weekly spread since I filmed this on Tuesday, which was way too early for me to plan for next week. But I will post all my weekly spreads on my Studygram, so do go and check that out at Study Soojin. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you will. Hopefully I'll be posting at least once every week, and next week's video would probably be a study with me, so do stay tuned for that. Anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!